Hello and welcome to CS-112 Introduction to Python Programming. In this video, I'll go over the syllabus and some course details that might help you transition into the course. So first things first, I am Professor Otters. My email is listed here as well as any other contact information. I have my office hours on Mondays from 12 to 12:30 p.m. via Zoom, with the exception of finals week. Finals week, we do not have office hours. So if you'd like to meet with me during finals week, you would have to do that. You would have to schedule that via email. Okay. So you could read the course description on your own, but the short end of it is that we're going to be learning introductory Python. This is going to include things like the syntax for Python, variables, data types, conditionals, loops, string manipulation, basic data structures like lists and dictionaries. And we're going to go over Python modules and libraries briefly. We'll also have a very short introduction to object-oriented programming during the last week of the course. So as far as communication and response time is concerned, if I don't respond within 24 hours, you can send me a follow-up email. Sometimes I get a lot of emails and maybe your message gets buried in my inbox. If you do choose to message me, please message me through Canvas. So on the left side of the screen, of course, my Canvas looks different than yours, but yours should also have this inbox option right here. And then you'll be able to message me through that. If you email me, please include your full name and the course name in the subject line so I know what class you're from. And then if you would like to meet face to face, you can also schedule a Zoom meeting. And the details for that Zoom meeting is listed here. I use the same meeting room for all of my meetings for the office hours. There is no official text for this class. Most of all of the information is either through articles online that everybody should have access to, and lecture videos. The demonstration videos primarily use REPL.it and PyCharm. For REPL.it, REPL has introduced a subscription requirement for users who want to store more than 3 REPLs on their account. This is still, I think, relatively new, like a year and a half old. And so if you want to use a different online compiler, you're free to do so. You can also use Google Colab or Jupyter Notebooks. They also support Python 3. And I'll go over briefly how to do that in a moment. So listed here are several free online compiler options. So one compiler is an online compiler. And then we have, let's see, Google Colab, also an online compiler. Let's go ahead and look some of these up. So if you were looking for an online compiler to practice along, you would just simply say Python online compiler. And then you have some options right here at the top. And these online compilers are all of a very similar structure to REPL. Most of these are going to look pretty similar. So on the left side, you would have whatever code you're following along with in the video tutorials, or maybe you're experimenting on your own. And then on the right, you have output. So anything like, for example, this is a print statement. We'll get to it in the video lectures. But if I run this, I have an output here. So this is code that's going to output this text here, and that's what it says right there. And if I want to get rid of that, I just press clear. With most of these online compilers, you're going to get ads. Again, they're free, so I guess this is how they generate some money to keep doing what they're doing. So again, here's another one. What's this one called? Online Python. And it is, again, a very similar structure. So you have some code on the left, and then you have an output section on the right. You've got some ads here. And then run your code, a little triangle button here. Very similar to what you're going to see in the REPL.it tutorial in this first week. Additionally, we've also listed Google, yes, so Google Colab, and then Jupyter Notebook in the same vein. A little bit more involved, but also free to use and worth it if you plan on doing more with Python. We're going to go over PyCharm, which is a dedicated IDE for Python, and you're going to use that if you wanted to do like a larger project or something. But we get a tutorial on that in later modules. As far as the weekly expectations are concerned, nearly every week ends on Sunday at 11:59 p.m., with the exception of the final week. That's going to be Thursday, February 12th at 5 p.m. Please write this down. Please put this in your calendar, and please put notifications so you get reminders that this date is coming up. All coursework needs to be completed before the deadline. I cannot accept any late work, any work after this deadline here. So please make sure to record this date. Other than that, your weekly deadlines are Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Weekly modules unlock at the start of each week, Monday at 12 a.m. We will get regular quizzes and assignments and exams. You'll have an exam every week, and they need to be completed before the deadline. We also outline learning outcomes, so you'll be able to gauge what concepts you need to learn, what concepts you're already grasping, just to help you keep inventory about where you are concept-wise in the class. Expect to spend about 20 hours per week on the coursework. However, daily coding practice is encouraged to get you proficient in Python. Week 1 and week 2 attendance quizzes must be completed within 24 hours to stay enrolled in the class. If you fail to complete these, you will be dropped from the class. So the week 1 attendance quiz is due January 5th. And then next Monday, so for week 2 on Monday, you'll have another attendance quiz that needs to be completed within those 24 hours. Let's see here. Additionally, if you're missing a lot of assignments, if I just notice that there's a huge drop off, you may be dropped from the course too for lack of participation. If you do decide to withdraw from this course, make sure to keep an eye on that deadline so that you could drop without any consequence, and then if you wait a little longer, you can drop with a W. And then after a certain point, you won't be able to drop anymore, and you'll receive a final grade for the coursework. So just keep an eye on your dates. I do accept late work. So if you have an extenuating circumstance, I can waive the deduction. But if you do submit something late, it's an automatic 20-point deduction from the total possible points for that assignment. And then for every week it's late, it's an additional 20-point deduction. My grading policy is pretty straightforward. Discussions are 20%, exams are 40%, quizzes are 20%, and we have 2 projects that will be worth 20% of your grade. The grading scale is standard. For discussions, you need to post a paragraph that kind of outlines your understanding of a computer science topic and perhaps maybe adds to it. Maybe you share your thoughts about it. Maybe you have some questions. And then you will need to reply to at least one classmate to receive full points on that assignment. The rubric is here in the syllabus. There are 6 exams, including the final. The final is not comprehensive, so it'll only cover material from that week. There are 2 projects. You need to upload a YouTube video demonstrating some code or a flowchart. You need to explain your process. Additional details are provided prior to each of these. So the week that it is going to be due, you will have additional information given to you about what that code you need to make is or what that flowchart is going to be. So if you have any questions about this, please let me know. More information will come as each deadline approaches. I expect that you only submit work that is your own. I understand that AI is, part of the learning environment now. A lot of people use it as like a quick reference. Maybe you want to look up some syntax really quick. You just kind of use chat to check it out. But you are absolutely not allowed to submit work that is not your own. So I mean, submitting sending a prompt to ChatGPT and then just copying that and then pasting that in is absolutely not permitted, and I am on the lookout for things like that. So again, I don't have an issue with using AI as a support for your learning, but you cannot use any AI tool to hijack your own learning. You need to learn these things on your own. And you could read my policy here for more information. DSPS, so if you're registered with DSPS, please send me your AAP. And then if you need help or support, you can refer to the website here. I've outlined our student learning outcomes and our tentative schedule for this condensed class. So I'm going to now go over our first module so I can kind of show you how these things work. You will have an introduction module that outlines what we're going to do. Maybe it talks a little bit about how this is going to look. Additionally, we'll have some learning objectives. You want to keep an eye out for these. These are what you are going to be expected to know. And then some module instructions. And finally, next steps. If you want to go a little bit beyond the lesson, we have some outline there. You will have your week 1 attendance quiz here, and then each lesson plan you'll need to click on individually. They will have some reading assignments, video lessons, labs, and the quizzes which you will need to turn in before the deadline. And then because this is a condensed course, expect to learn multiple topics at once within each module. So there's 2 more here. And then your discussion, I believe we have one of these every week as well. And then your exam, one of these every week as well. And then finally, a conclusion module that summarizes what you learned and also summarized some of the key things to know about your lesson. And then it kind of previews what we're going to do in the next module. So you'll be primed for that. Again, so for week 2, here's the attendance quiz for that. Please do not forget to do that when that comes up. And then a project, so it'll show you some preparation requirements, and then in week 3, you'll have your first project. So that's kind of just an overview of what the very first part of this class is going to be like. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Please use Canvas, use the inbox feature to message me. And I hope everybody has a wonderful semester. Try your best, and have a wonderful day.